Welcome to Facts TV News, where everything is true. Prime Minister expected to address COVID measures in Parliament today. Prime Minister Andrew Holness is expected to address the coronavirus control measures in a statement in Parliament today. Holness is to inform the nation of either an extension relaxation of the COVID-19 measures as the House of Representatives resumes its sitting after the summer break. Holness is one of the three cabinet ministers who are down to make ministerial statement on Wednesday, the others being the Minister of Education, Favour Williams, and Agriculture and Fisheries Minister Floyd Green. Williams is expected to give an update on the educational sector following the first full week of classes since the new school term and year got underway on September 6, while Green is expected to address the recent impact of tropical storms Ida and Grace on the agriculture sector. The Prime Minister is expected to hold center stage while Jamaicans are anxious for a relaxation of the COVID-19 measures, having completed the last of 4 sets of consecutive 3 days of lockdown weekly. On Tuesday, the daily reports of hundreds of new infections and hospitalizations bursting at the seams suggest that the restrictions could continue for a while yet. This is while only 5 COVID-related deaths were recorded over the past 2 days. The daily recorded death counted has been as high as 32 in recent days and is consistently in the double digits. This is as the country continues to be impacted by a deadly third wave of the coronavirus, which is being driven by the highly contagious Delta variant. On Tuesday, the influential Jamaica Manufacturers and Exporters Association called for a relaxation of the COVID measures while indicating that its members are being crippled by the lockdown or no movement days. According to the association, 80% of its members experienced a decline in productivity during the lockdown periods. The association said the findings of a survey conducted towards the end of August also showed that 40% of its members indicated that their supplies were severely hindered during the no movement days. 83% of members indicated that they expect to have some decline in their company's revenue for the period of August 2021 due to no movement days, and 17% are unsure about how the no movement days will impact their revenue, the association shared. However, with the country's positivity rate near 40% instead of closer to the internationally accepted 5% mark, and with all hospital beds dedicated to COVID-19 patients being largely occupied, the question of a likely continuation of the containment measures remains prominent on the table of the administration. And notably, after taking stock of the opening up of the entertainment sector at the start of July, which has been blamed for the rapid spread of the virus since then, the Prime Minister stated that he will no longer bow to special interest groups. Floyd Green resigns after fierce backlash over COVID breach. Minister of Agriculture and Fisheries Floyd Green has tendered his resignation from the cabinet following public backlash after a video surfaced showing him and several others in clear breach of COVID-19 protocols at a social gathering purported on non-movement day. Green announced his resignation in a release on Wednesday morning, noting that, "I have disappointed so many, my family including my son, my Prime Minister, and most importantly, the people of Jamaica who I have sworn to serve. No matter how brief and regardless of the circumstances, I should never have participated in any engagement that could indicate a lack of appreciation of the difficult and serious realities that face now the entire country. My actions have demonstrated a lack of sensitivity for the difficult realities that are all over us that we're facing currently." Green said he met with Prime Minister Andrew Holness earlier in the morning and indicated his decision to withdraw from the cabinet. Reporters understand that Holness was livid over the video and had asked Green to submit his resignation. Green apologized for his actions and said he will work hard to regain the nation's trust. Tough turn on restricting gathering for entertainment in hotels. On Tuesday evening, Health Minister Dr. Christopher Tufton was asked by a reporter when will the government explicitly restrict gathering for entertainment activities in hotels, suggesting that an assumption was being made. Tufton said the hotel space is guided by protocols.
Well, you're making some assumptions, and I you normally do that, Damien. You ask questions based on assumptions that I can't say that I share in its totality anyway. The truth is that the hotel space is guided by protocols, and those protocols are in effect, and those protocols address issues around sanitation, mask wearing, sanitizing, testing. The hotels spend a lot of money on testing to ensure that they control the virus, or at least track or provide appropriate surveillance, firm level surveillance around the virus. They also do the same in terms of the resilient corridor, which you'd have seen some data put out by them, spoken by the Minister of Tourism on. And so if the question is suggesting that they are not doing enough, then I would take some issue with that, in that we know, and it is subject to inspection, and we do inspections, that they do have a protocol that they comply with. And further to that, I know that they are now embarking on a major vaccination program to vaccinate their employees, their families, and hopefully the communities around them. So, that's my response. I think they're trying to do what they can. Always room for improvement, and we will continue to work with them to further improve as the need arises.
CMO taken aback by covered-up claims in deaths during oxygen shortage. Chief Medical Officer Dr. Jacqueline Besusa McKenzie says she is taken aback by assertions that the Health Ministry has been seeking to cover up COVID-19 deaths that occurred as a result of an oxygen shortage 3 weeks ago. Meanwhile, Health Minister Dr. Christopher Tufton has rebuffed suggestions from an independent inquiry at this time into circumstances behind the oxygen shortage.
Yes, I really feel the need to comment, because I'm a little bit taken aback by the consideration that we're trying to hide deaths. The Jamaican health system does have a capacity, and from we started to manage the COVID pandemic, we have made it very clear that there was a capacity that if we did not keep the numbers below the capacity of the health system to manage, that we would have dire consequences. Over time, we have increased that capacity. We have increased the number of beds, we have increased the number of staff, we've worked tirelessly to secure personal protective equipment, training of staff, to provide more oxygen supplies. But the fact is that, there is just so much that within our context that we can provide, because there are always limitations that prevent us from going above a certain level. And the fact is, if we go into a fourth surge and we remain with this much of our population unvaccinated, then the threat becomes real again, that we challenge the limitations of our capacity.
We need to allow the internal processes to work. This idea of calling for an inquiry and just jumping over the internal processes, certainly it's hardly ever done in some spaces. I mean, you have a structure, and the structure should be given an opportunity to work. Now, if the structure doesn't work, then I fully appreciate that we need to improve on that, and it may be at that point that you need to have a more independent assessment. But I don't subscribe to the view that we should seek external help so frequently that we end up undermining the structures that we establish. Improve them where we must, but give them a chance to work. And in this instance, as I said, the issues leading up to where we are quite clear and transparent as it relates to oxygen and the availability of it. And so it's not like we're trying to hide something. Those have been made public. We've provided evidence of it in many cases in terms of the supplier not getting the overseas supplies that they wanted or they ordered.
Please remember to subscribe, like, share, and click the notification bell for daily updates.